After losing his mother at a young age and becoming angry at everybody and everything, Sam Hunter believed everyone was going to leave him, so he sabotaged and destroyed any relationship with anybody before it could happen. As a teenager, he was left homeless. Between people's sofas and sleeping outdoors, Sam felt he had nothing to wake up for. Whilst watching the rest of the world continue in progress, he felt that he got left behind. Until we found Accumulate, a charity that uses creativity and creative education to empower the lives of young people who are homeless and living in temporary accommodations. Now studying access to design and digital media at university and selected for the youth panel at the Kurt Geiger Kindness Foundation, Sam is inspired more every day. From feeling as though he had no purpose or direction, Sam is now really open-minded about the future and understands that nothing is impossible. Just keep moving and don't stay still. So on today's episode, I'm with Sam. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. How's your day going so far?
Yeah, all good. Good day. Busy. Yeah.
Good. That's what's important, isn't it? So,
hmm
as you know, we're going to go straight into your backstory. So the floor's over to you.
Yeah. Um, I don't really know. Start. So I can start. Well, from my childhood. When I was about say six, seven, about seven. My mother unfortunately passed away,
Mhm.
which was obviously quite hard. And like up until then, my life was pretty normal. To be honest with you, I had a pretty normal childhood. You know. But yeah, up until that happened, then my life obviously drastically changed. I went from not really at that age as well. You don't really know what's going on, so everything was kind of kept a secret in a way, and I was moving from place to place. So I didn't stay at home for a long while, and I didn't really know what was going on. And my father, he didn't really know how to tell me at the time, so it took him a little while to tell me as well. And he was like, in the military and stuff growing up, so he wasn't very well at dealing with emotions and things like that, and speaking to me about certain things like that. So it was quite hard around about that time, not really knowing where I was going, what was going on, really feeling quite lost. And then I remember just going back to school and like, everyone had already heard about what had happened. And just like, I was like, I just felt like an outcast because, everyone was talking about me and things like that. But no one actually really wanted to come up to me and speak to me, if you know what I mean. So that was like really, really hard going back to school and things like that, feeling so alienated and stuff. But yeah, after that, I really started to struggle in my like schoolwork and things like that. I didn't really feel like I was up for it really, or like following it. I just felt like I was in my own world a lot of the time, like disconnected from reality in a way. Um, and I was always going to, so because my dad was working and he was a single parent, I was always going to, when it comes to summer holidays, I was in summer camps, and any time I was off of school, I would have to stay with, friends or things like that. So that was quite hard as well, because I used to remember always getting really homesick and things like that. I never really used to like, being away from home and things like that. But as I got older, I just started to get used to it really. Now it's to the point where I find it hard to stay in one place for long. I like to move about a lot now, but yeah, so then it was really hard. And then even throughout secondary school and things like that, it's still pretty much the same. I felt like, if anything, I had a bit more support in primary school. I had counselling and things like that, and they were a bit more understanding. But then, when I left primary school and then went to secondary school, and it's a new surroundings, and they don't really know, your story and things like that. So that was hard going into secondary school education, for the first time. I remember really not liking secondary school. So pretty much it was pretty similar from primary school. I really didn't, do as well as I should have. I ended up leaving school in year 10, or at the end of year 10. So I didn't actually like do my GCSEs and things like that, unfortunately. But what I did do is I ended up going to college early, and I started studying music production because I'm like really into my music and stuff. So I started studying music production at a college called DV8 in Walthamstow, and there I actually done really well. I ended up getting all of my qualifications, passed my level 3, got my functional skills in English and maths, which is really good. So then I started to kind of realize, maybe that, like the mainstream education wasn't actually for me. I was more into like creative things, always have been. So that's when I started to realize maybe I was into more creative stuff. And yeah, so I started to get into my music and things like that, and a bit of graphic design and stuff like that as well. But I was obviously still having trouble at home with my dad and things like that, and it got to the point where he couldn't have me in the house anymore because of my behavior and stuff like that. So I was getting kicked out from about 15, 16, around about that age, being kicked out and stuff. So then I had to try and, I was on the streets for a while as well. It was hard to find places to stay, and the council didn't really want to help me, if I remember right, because they wanted my dad to write a letter or something silly like that. But our relationship was so bad at the time that, he wouldn't write a letter,
Yeah.
but they needed it in writing. It was so silly. So I was literally just sofa surfing for a while until I ended up getting into the YMCA. So I was in a hostel for a while as well. Only through my support worker, I got given a support worker, and he helped me out to find me accommodation and things like that, and try and get things back together really. And so around about that time, when I started going to the hostel, I met a few friends there, and then one of them saw that I was into like creative stuff like music and drawing and things like that. So then they said, "Oh, it'd probably be a good idea. There's this workshops and stuff that Accumulate do, and it would be really good. I think you'd enjoy it if you come along." So that's how I ended up first finding out about Accumulate, and I ended up coming along and really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed doing the workshops, the different creative things that they do. And it's all around, like-minded people and people that come from similar situations and things like that. So you don't feel like you're being judged, or, that anyone sees you any type of way, because everyone's kind of on the same wavelength. So that's a really nice, and it's a nice environment and things like that. So from there, then I ended up obviously getting offered the scholarship from Maurice through Accumulate, which is how I've ended up now at university, from literally not finishing secondary school to now studying at university. Is like something that obviously I actually thought I would never do. It was something that I thought would maybe, I'd like to do, but I just felt like at the time before that it was impossible almost to do. Like there's no way I would go to uni. I saw it as this thing that was like kind of impossible for me to do anyway. But yeah, through Accumulate, now that's become possible, and yeah, now I'm studying at the moment. I'm doing an access course, and I'm looking to go on and study graphic design after this, hopefully.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going really well so far, and I'm really enjoying it. So it's just a lot of progress, from where I came from to now. And yeah, I'm really happy with how things are going at the moment now. Whereas before, it was hard to even wake up some days, of depression and things like that, when you feel like you don't even have anything to wake up for. I could like literally just stay in bed all day and sleep all day and not do anything, because I didn't have anything to do. I didn't really feel like I had any purpose or any direction at one point, which has now changed, which is really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you felt like that, when was it that you went through that? When you felt like you didn't have a
having no
purpose?
direction and things. Literally, to be honest with you, just before, I'd say a bit before I started actually going to Accumulate, because I wasn't really doing much. It was just like every day, just living day by day as it comes, just, and yeah, it was a really hard time. It was a rough time, and I felt really lonely. And like I said, no sense of direction. I didn't know what I was going to do next. I wasn't really doing much with myself at all. And I know a lot of people around my age probably doing like, obviously doing their studies and working or whatever. I just felt like I was kind of got left behind in a way, and while everyone else is progressing, I'm just kind of falling back. That's how I felt. And it was really hard to kind of get out of that mentality, that feeling. Yeah.
I think that's the thing, is it's trying not to compare yourself when other people your age are doing, other things, because at the end of the day, look where you are now, which is amazing. And what was the, obviously you said your friend told you about Accumulate, but what made you say, actually, you know what, I'm going to get out of bed today and I'm going to give it a go?
Just being sick and tired of the same thing every day, I guess, and wanting to do something with myself, and not just do something, but do something positive, do something that I love. and meet other people, like-minded people that are into the same things. And yeah, because like before I was like so angry in that as well. I was angry at everyone, angry at everything, and like my relationships. I was like literally destroying relationships that I'd have with people over many years, like sabotaging relationships and things like that, all due to like, I don't know, because it's hard to explain, but I felt like, oh, these people are gonna see like I'm not really doing much, and they're gonna leave me, so I'll destroy everything before that happens, kind of thing, like some sort of defense. But it's really stupid looking back on it. But at the time, that's how I felt, so I kind of broke off all these relationships and stuff, because I wasn't happy at the end of the day, really. Yeah.
Is that what you did with your dad then, do you think?
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's quite a complicated one because, like I said, he's quite old school and things like that, and we never really had much of a very close relationship. You say I was always closer to my mother, so yeah. But yeah, that definitely put a big strain on it, on the relationship as well. Yeah.
No, of course, of course. No, I
Hmm.
understand. I understand.
Yeah.
And then how long were you on the streets then?
Sorry.
How long were you on the streets?
I'd say for about a year or so, but like not literally on the streets. I was kind of like just staying from place to
Yeah.
place. There might be a night where I'd sleep outside if I had nowhere to go, but luckily most of the time I had friends who would like let me stay there, and once I'd finished staying there, I'd move to the next place. And
Yeah.
so literally I was sofa surfing for about a year or so.
Yeah.
But that's a really tough time as well, because you come to realize as well, no matter how much people say, oh yeah, we have you, we love you, or whatever it may be, when it comes to that kind of situation where you're living with somebody, and like there's only a certain amount of time people can really put up with you for, and it's not down to, it's like everyone needs their own kind of space and things like that, and you need to make your own path and stuff at the end of the day. But when you're in that kind of space, you see it as in such a negative way, as if like, oh, no one cares about me, no one really wants to help me. But people find it hard to help themselves, and you can't stay with other people, and that's not your life, and that's not your house, and things like that. So you see it differently afterwards. You need to go off and do your own kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I even thought maybe joining the military. I tried to join the military at one point when I was homeless, thinking, yeah, maybe that would be the answer, because like most of my family's been in the military and stuff as well. But yeah, nearly went down that route, but I ended up failing the medical. So I guess it just wasn't meant to be for me, Yeah.
No, obviously not. You were meant to go to university instead.
Yeah.
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 Do you think sometimes you're maybe a little bit glad that?
Yeah, no, definitely, because like I said, I've always been creative and into creative things. That's just one thing that I love. I think it's beautiful. And it's most of the people, that are into creative things, a lot of them have come from certain hardships and things like that. And it's like an escape. It's a way to escape and a way to inspire others. And yeah, you can do so many things with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a powerful thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can let so many different emotions and thoughts and feelings out in whatever art or creativity that you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
can really express yourself.
And I see a way like, almost all creative things are kind of linked in one way or another. Like most creative things, like the music and the graphic design, they all go hand in hand with each other, which is really, really interesting. And I've just started to really get into more with, learning more about digital design and graphic design and things like that. It's opened up a whole new world to me, really. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing though, you've been able to say, the hardships that you've been through, and, the mindsets that you've been through. And now you seem pretty positive about life and about things. How did you get there? How did you start to see things differently?
I don't know. It wasn't like an overnight thing. It was like a gradual thing. And yeah, it's really hard for me to explain that to you, but just slowly after, when you go through all these kind of things, and like I kind of felt like I was literally at the lowest of the low at one point, like, so, and at that point it felt like there was no going up, when you feel like that. But that doesn't always help you when you have that mentality and that mindset of, everything's not working for me and everyone's against me and that. you kind of make yourself become a recluse and not part of society in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way you're thinking and the way you feel. So understanding that, I think, was a big part of it, and
Yeah.
knowing that you have to get out there and do something and not just let your emotions or, your past or whatever you've done define you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the key message, isn't it? It's not letting your past define you and moving
Hmm.
forward into a future. You can, you can create your own future.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, absolutely. And are you part of is it the youth panel for the Kurt Geiger Foundation, Kindness
Yeah.
Foundation?
Yeah, I've just been accepted for that literally like last month. So we're gonna have the first workshop in February, which
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I've got so much stuff going on right now, which like I didn't even think was gonna,
Yeah.
be a possibility.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
Yeah. I guess you're a perfect example of, you said before, a lot of these things that you thought were impossible, and you're a perfect example of showing so many people that what you might think is impossible actually isn't.
Mhm. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. How does that make you feel, knowing that you've been able to get to where you are now then?
It makes me feel more inspired and literally um make me feel like, this ain't enough. I just still need to carry on doing
Yeah.
more. I just want more and more and more. Keep doing better. Literally, just keep progressing.
Yeah.
That's my mindset at the moment.
Yeah.
And like every opportunity in that as well that you do get, take it, because you never know like if the opportunity will come again, or if
Yeah.
there will be another opportunity. You never know. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just like to try and stay busy and do positive things, and try and help others and stuff as well. Really.
Yeah, definitely. It's a one small step, one baby step, after the other leads you into
Yeah.
bigger steps and then bigger adventures. And like you said, you just want more now. So
Mhm.
first step, look where it's taken you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally. I'm just really open minded about the future and stuff as well. Like I said before, I was like didn't really see the future. Like I said, it was just day to day
Yeah.
living, just living day by day. But now I'm actually seeing, I want to do this. I want to, do my graphic design and
Yeah.
yeah, and just keep moving really instead of staying still in bed.
No, I
Yeah.
understand. I understand. So then, what advice would you have for anybody that might have been in the position you were, and maybe they don't have the hope yet, or they don't see the light yet, they don't see a future? What would you say to them?
I know it's really hard, but like just try it, and like anything that you're grateful for, there has to be something, just keep keep a sight on keep a mind on the positive things, and yeah, just think what you want to do with yourself in the future. Do you want to you don't you obviously you wouldn't want to stay in the same situation. You just need to have that kind of image of what you want to do, a clear image of what you want to do, who you want to be, and then just slowly, like you said, take baby steps, one step at a time, one goal at a time towards what you want to do, and before you know it, you'll be doing a lot better, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Is there anything else that you want to discuss today, or anything else you want to share?
Um, Not that I can think of right now. Sorry, my mind goes blank sometimes. I find it really hard to speak. Like,
It
in these
happens
kind
to
of
all of us.
situations
Don't worry, it
sometimes.
happens
Yeah, I
to
get a
all
bit
of us.
nervous and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
It happens to all of us in every situation sometimes, even with
yeah,
friends.
yeah. I've been trying to work as well on like, speaking in front of others, because you have to do a lot of that with the uni work and stuff, presenting, and
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, so it's just practice really. Practice makes perfect, right?
Exactly, exactly. Practice makes perfect. It's really funny because I remember at university, my first presentation I had to do. I remember,
Yeah,
I never forget this. There was a group presentation, and was facing the wall before we started because I was so nervous. And I remember
yeah.
my hands with the paper were shaking. I
Mhm.
remember actually, and I couldn't stop them shaking. And I remember turning back around, and the whole time I was so nervous. And that was obviously my first year. And then
Yeah.
I remember the last presentation I did at university and the feedback I got, which was
Mm.
amazing. So for me to see yeah, to watch myself in those few years change
Yeah,
and be able to not stand there shaking with paper.
yeah. How do you think like you got to that point? Was it just through like doing it, multiple times, practice,
How did I
or
get there? You know what? Yeah, I think with my university we had quite a lot of group work or
mm,
presentations, and I, I the first year, every presentation I was nervous, every single one. But I
yeah,
think what I used to do is one thing actually. I don't know if you ever do take cue cards in or with writing.
yeah,
I tried to stop doing that because I was relying too much on the
on
paper,
them,
and then I
mm,
wasn't present, if that makes sense. I wasn't
yeah,
present. I was
yeah.
relying too much on the paper.
I'm
And
not engaging with the people as much, kind of
yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I remember by the last presentation just having the bullet points on the board, knowing what I was going to say, or what you kind of understanding the point as I got there. So
hmm,
yeah, it definitely was practice though, believe me. But
yeah,
it was not relying too much on something else. It was actually giving myself the confidence and knowing that, I can stand here and it's okay, I can do
hmm,
this.
yeah. I don't know why we're so afraid sometimes of like, I don't know. It's like you're afraid of what people are gonna think, or so. I don't know. It's a really strange
Yeah,
one because
yeah,
like most people do get that feeling when you have to speak in front of people and things like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it's in front of like two people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, I was quite a small group, but still, like, oh, I don't know what it is. I just sometimes when you have that like where your memory just goes blank and you just really can't think, and instead of just carrying it on and speaking, I just like sometimes just, oh mate, I don't know what to do. I'm just like, I just want to disappear from here right now. But yeah,
Yeah,
like
and
you
it's
said,
a case of
yeah,
when the mind goes blank, the mind goes blank. Like nothing comes into your mind. Nothing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so don't worry. I totally understand.
Hmm. I'm sure soon I'll be, doing much better as well at my public speaking. Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. Just trying to work on my presenting and public speaking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I look for, well, whenever you feel like, you've got there, just let me know. And,
yeah,
it's nice to share those kind of things with people as well. The small little, like that, for instance, when you get to a place where you feel like you can public speak or you can present in front of people and you feel more confident doing it, that's a little thing in life, but that little thing could mean the world to you. And I think that's also something to bear in mind, is taking control and really understanding those little things, because the day where you feel like you can do that, you're going to feel amazing that day. So,
yeah, yeah. Of course.
and if you share it with someone like you did with me now, and then whenever that day comes, just share it with me. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
nice to share those kind of things.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Definitely.
yeah.
I'm sure next time I'll say, yeah, the presentation went great and I'm, I'm getting better. Yeah, I'm sure it will. It's just
Yeah,
practice.
exactly. Like you said, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. I've really, really enjoyed it, and it's been amazing to hear
Thank
your
you.
story.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So enjoy the rest of uni today, because that's where you are now,
Thank
isn't
you. Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Perfect. And I will speak to you soon.
Yeah. Have a good day.
And you too.
Thank you.